I'm just working, man.
I know what my audience like. I did some independent films with Master P. A lot of those movies did really well.
I'm ambitious, I'm a hustler. I have my own lane.
That's the thing about comedy. You wake up every day, you don't know if you're funny that day.
What up, what up, what up? I ain't had the volume up. What up, what up? What's good with you? Welcome to the program, man. Let's go live with Lamont King. I am Lamont King, and we are now going live. Good to see y'all, man. Welcome back. We made it. A whole nother day, man. Who knew? Who knew when they went to sleep last night that this would be another one? You would get another one. Another one. Do it in circles, Devin. Another one. Good to see y'all, man. We are here each and every Monday through Friday, 6 p.m., 7 East Coast time. This is the program. Shout out to everybody in the West Coast and watching worldwide. Also, everybody watching in the Humor Mill app, appreciate you. That's a wonderful situation that we got going over there. Got some dope program they're building over there in that app. You can get it on Roku and your Fire Stick and all kind of stuff. Look for the Humor Mill TV channel, or the Humor Mill channel, and look for Humor Mill TV. Number one source online for comedy and news entertainment. If you're watching, that means somebody hipped you to the show. Could have been me, could have been you. But if you see something, share something, man. As soon as it comes across your timeline, go ahead and just hit that share and repost button so everybody can see. Stop being selfish. We got a little bit of everything going on. Trending topics, celebrity interviews, hilarious commentary, and interesting people. That's what we do here. All right, shout out to our executive producer, Mr. Clarkson, on the 1 and 2s. We are 100% viewer supported by viewers like you. $ Lamont King 06 in the Cash App. You can slide us some monetary support, honorarium, if you will. We can do tax write-off. We can hook you up. Have my people call your people. We good to go. Or you can join us on Patreon. I just put up some full shows, the last 2 shows, which you won't see anywhere else. If you miss Let's Go Live, you can see the full episodes and all their compelling hilarity. And inside our inside our Patreon, I'm going to tell y'all why I'm coughing. Patreon.com, Mr. Lamont King. Become a patron. Appreciate you. All right. One more thing. Got something to tell y'all, man. We are broadcasting live inside the newly remodeled Drunken Fruit Studio. So shout out to our longest running sponsor. And our sponsor for the week is Bargain Bay Buys. Great reselling situation over there. So if you'd like to find stuff for the low, they can help you do it. Check it out on IG and the website, bargainbaybuys.com. All right, man. So I just came across, I got to word this right. This is tricky. I'm coughing because I just had some spicy meat Pause. I just had some sliced glizzy. If you're not from this area, you know that glizzy is an elongated piece of meat shaped in sausage form, otherwise known as a hot dog or anything of that shape. They call it glizzies. But my man out in the West Coast, man, black-owned business, started his own sausage company. And it sounds crazy, but he was like, yo, man, I want you to try my meats. And I was like, pause. And I said, yeah, send it. So he sent his meat in the mail. And it was before they took up the mailboxes and all of that. But the meat came in the mail, and I froze the meat immediately. I put his meat in the freezer on ice. And I was like, who knows when I'm going to get around to tasting that man's meat. So it's J Law Artisan Sausages. And let me tell you something. All right. You know, it's wild when you know somebody that has a product crafted from their brain and it made it to market, and now it's in stores and all that other stuff and available, and it's on par with any of the other products that you have grown up with, Hillshire Farms, Jimmy Dean's. Man, this sausage is fire. Spicy. When I tell you, I got the spicy joints. I got the spicy meats. When I tell you the spicy meats is official, man, we just made some gumbo and sliced the J Law Artisan sausages and put it in the gumbo, and it got me coughing because it went right to the chest. The meat just went straight to the chest. I feel it in my chest. Disgusting. Hold up. So J Law Artisan Meats, great product, man. Black owned business, like an upstart. I'm talking like, who do you know out here making sausage? For real. Don't play. There's people got t-shirt lines, and I do my own gift baskets, and I make handcrafted cell phone cases. Like, you know those people. But who among you is out know somebody making sausages, man? I'm talking about, putting it, squeezing the meat in the case, and the packaging is professional, and it looks like anything else that you buy in the store. So I'm trying to get him on tomorrow. Wait, let me see. Did he respond? I was just rapping with him. Did he respond? I'm going to try to get him on tomorrow. We're going to talk about his meat. We're going to have his meat on tomorrow. J Law Artisan Meats. I'm about to post a link. No, it's dope, though. It's actually very good. Like, literally. I like when we come across what's his Instagram? Hold up. I was just on the page. I like when we get a chance to come across. Hold on, let me type this in. J Law in 84, and it's hashtag J Law. I don't even know what artisan is. Somebody tell me what artisan is, because it sounds good. Like, that's the part right there that make you be like, oh, all right, he official, because he put artisan in the name. You don't even know what artisan is. And but anyway, what's I about to say? No, I like when people we know, especially in this season of upstarts and starting your own business, when people we know make something and the product is as quality as anything that's competing against it in the market, like that makes me proud, because it's not almost could have been, or if they only had it. No, it's like legit. You could legit see this product on the shelf in the store, next to Hillshire Farm or Turkey Hill or Butterball or Jimmy Dean. You know what I'm saying? So cool. All right, Mr. Clarkson, artisan definition: a worker in a skilled trade, especially one that involves making things by hand. So the meat is handmade. Oh, made by an artisan. All right. So we got another product testimonial. So Kennard said he had some at my cookout. The bratwurst, the andouille breakfast sauce is crazy good. His hot sauces are good too. Oh, there you go. So it's a cosign. So it ain't just me. Yeah, we're gonna have him on tomorrow. We'll talk about it. I love that, man. Black owned business. Good deal. All right. So one more time for the info. And so Skype in if you want to jump in on the conversation. We'll be talking about the NBA bubble and what's happening right now today. So let's go find it on Skype. Let's go live with the exclamation point. You'll see the face for the show. And let's get to it, man. I want to talk about the Wisconsin situation, but I don't want to show the video. I woke up to that video of the young white guy, the killer, the mass killer, the trained hitman that killed the two protesters and was summarily just casually overlooked. I wouldn't even say overlooked. I got to get my words right again because this is so new. So I don't know if you know this, but last night there was a guy, 17-year-old, from a neighboring state. I think it was from Illinois, which is not even a neighboring state. Drove to Wisconsin looking for action. There's no other way to spin it. He was looking for action. He was doing what I had predicted that they were going to start doing about 3 months ago. But he was just young and dumb enough to do it. So what I had predicted was these agitators in these protests, because most of the people that are on the streets today now are white folks, paid or otherwise. We saw it in D.C. when they running up on people talking about if you don't chant Black Lives Matter and raise your fists, and it be all white folks, right? So those are the groups that are in a lot of these major cities, Occupy Portland, and some other places. These are these paid protesters, some of them, causing these dust-ups. So you got some municipalities across the country, including in Kentucky and other states, where that's our guest. All right, stand by. Where law enforcement, police chiefs included, was like, yo, if y'all keep this up, we're gonna deputize every law-abiding gun owner and militia and authorize them to do citizens arrest, right? So I was like, yo, these fringe people is gonna come out here and start taking matters into their own hands. They're gonna start starting fights with whoever is out there and using the justification that they're defending citizens and property and all that. They're going to starting a fight so you can get with them. They can pull out on you and end you on the spot. I was like, it's going to happen. So last night, this is what he did. Now there's video. There is video of part of it because a lot of the news outlets were not telling the whole story. I saw the first video from Tariq Nasheed. Okay, that's where I get my news from, and he was saying how the guy shot first into a crowd of people, but the video picks up when the crowd of people chases him down and tackles him. So the other major media outlets were like, he was defending himself. So he gets up in a trained position and just starts taking people out. They say he hit about 5 or 6 people, killed 2. And then casually walks down the street towards a barricade of police in those big tactical vehicles or whatever, and gives a hand sign. I'm not making this up. Gives a hand sign, lets him know. If you look in the trained eye, you're like, oh, he's letting them know that he's a friendly. And they literally do nothing. Walk past them, and they flying by, trying to go to the scene of where the victims actually are laying in the street. And they pretty much did some communications going on. So then a few hours later, I see different video on Twitter. And this is video from a short time later when they're literally taking a break and like caressing this dude and massaging his intentions and like, yo, you need some water, fam? And he's like, whoo. And they like, you can hear it. They're like, thanks for doing that. It was getting crazy out here. And he's just walking around. They dap him up. He peace out. He's just milling around. He looks so goofy and dumb. He's the one that I worry about. This is what I was trying to get to y'all. It's going to be those people like him. He literally felt like he was obligated and allowed to do that. Got in his car, drove from Illinois to Wisconsin to go hunting. Probably thought he was going to shoot some blacks. This is all me right here. But on the protesters that are still left on the streets are mostly white. There were some blacks there on the streets because of what happened to Jacob Blake. But I guarantee you that's what he went for. He went for that action. And he is with utmost American confidence thinking he's a patriot. Untouched with a weapon that was previously fired. And he had just murdered 2 whole people in the middle of the street. And if you look at it, I believe this is you can correct me. He had a ear, whatchamacallit, and he had blue latex gloves on with the AR-15. What are you doing, fam? I'll tell you what he's doing. And we're going to move away from this very quickly, but I did not want to show the video because I've seen it all day. He was on a mission. This is the part that a lot of y'all just ain't getting. Ain't no amount of voting is going to vote this away. He was on a mission authorized by and encouraged in conjunction with the police. All right, that's too much. I feel like I said too much. All right. We'll get back to Blake and we'll get back to this guy and that story and your thoughts on that in a minute. All right, but right about now, we got to talk about this because it's all tied together. And I wanted to bring in my guest for today, sports expert, because I want to talk about the bubble and what happened today. So, in case you don't know, Milwaukee Bucks decided, they started the conversation last night, but they decided not to take the floor in today's game. I'm going to use the word protest, in protest of recent events in their state. I've heard the word boycott. I've heard the word strike. Got to be careful with the language because boycott is not necessarily appropriate and strike is not allowed by the collective bargaining agreement. So we're going to say protest. Protest of the game. And apparently, as I was coming into the studio today, OKC and the Houston Rockets are following suit. So I want to bring in our sports expert, our resident sports expert, all the way in from New York, who spent many years covering the NBA and I consider her an NBA insider. Please welcome to the program, Ms. India Sweet.
What's happening, Sam?
What's good with you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I just played some applause. I don't know if you could hear it.
No, I could not hear that.
But yeah, so we're going to come back to the Kenosha, Wisconsin stuff a little later. But I wanted to talk specifically about NBA because the protest, I think it's big. I think it's very strong. And again, these are very polarizing times, man. And on social media, it's really split down the middle, 50-50. I feel like every issue recently has been 50-50. You got black people that's like, no, that's not it. And then you got black people that's like, yeah, I'm here for it. And this one shocked me because I see.
As far as them stopping playing today?
Yes, as far as them stopping playing, the reaction that I saw from black people on social media kind of shocked me.
What you thought they were upset that they would agree, they wouldn't agree. As far as what do you mean it shocked you?
So
which way did it shock you?
It shocked me because I feel like it's a strong move. As far as a first step or even a step to take, I think it's strong. But I saw a lot of people like, oh man, too little, too late. What's that going to do? You should have thought about that before. You fucking your own money up. Rich people problems. You know, all of that. And I was like, nah, this ain't that. Like, this is very bold. And the reason why I think it's very bold and I think it's a strong move is because they already, had to mentally come to a place where they like, all right, we're going to play, but here's the terms. We want that floor. We want these jerseys. We want the T-shirts. We want to be able to kneel. Like, it's catch-22. Do I not play and take a stand, or do we come together, play on our terms, and be able to use this platform to get these messages out? And then when they do it, it's like you damned if you do, you damned if you don't. But then something like this happens, and it's like, you know what? We're not even in the mood to play.
Yeah, we tried.
We tried.
We tried. We tried.
And,
Y'all at least say we tried.
and I'm for it. And there are people still talking, even today, talking about, no, you got to keep playing because we got to hear voices because you have a platform. Nah, man. They passed that. Like
Well, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I saw Doc Rivers, his post game presser. I saw it live, and when his voice started quivering, my whole throat got tight, my eyes got tight, because he said, like, he finally said, Popovich over the years has said a lot. You had some other coaches that tiptoe the line. Doc said yesterday, well, all of us have been waiting to say on national television. He said, this is the part where he got me, because I had just finished watching the RNC as well. He said, man, I was watching the RNC earlier in my room, and he was like, I just don't get it. He said, just the fear and the hatred that they're pushing. He said, it doesn't make sense. He like, why? And then he was like, and then his voice started quivering. He was like, I just don't understand how we love this country so much. And this country just does not love us back. And I was like,
yeah. That's it. I mean, that's it right there. And I think that is why the players at this point said, you know what, we just can't do it. We came in here, we tried. I mean, because leaving the court today, Russell Westbrook and CP3 on separate teams are walking back to the locker room together. And mind you, now all of the games, just to update, all of the games have been canceled throughout the day. The last game was going to be the Lakers game, so that's now canceled. Okay. And from what they're talking about right now, it might not even be games tomorrow. So they're kind of just in a we have to figure this kind of out mode, because guys are just, and you know what, I really think what happened overnight in Kenosha with that white male domestic terrorist also had a lot to do with them just saying, like, man, and I kept saying, well, there's nothing wrong with people protesting. Can I curse?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Bitch, they are peaceful protesting, and they came up there and shot and killed him. What are you talking about? Like, I'm so tired of people caring more about storefront. And I am not the looter. That is not how I go about it. But I'm so sick of them caring more about a storefront than a freaking life. Right. That is the part that I lose my cool over. You know what I mean? Like, I try to keep my cool most of the time, but when you was talking about dude earlier, he's checking the storefront, but then you go out there and you kill 2 people. What's more important? What are you talking about? Like, I'm so confused.
But the fact that he can use that and has the privilege to use that as a justification, when you got in your car and drove from Illinois, you came to hunt. Yes. It's the same thing they're doing. It was the purpose. Yeah, it's the same thing they're doing in Chicago on the weekends. You came for the hunt. Yeah. But by the time it hits the news, they're trying to paint a picture so that the masses can stomach it. Yeah. Because if you tell the real story, I mean, then it's too much. Oh man, it's too much, and people be beside themselves, and it'll be utter chaos, more so than it is now.
And I feel like that's what it was, because even for me this morning, when I turned the news on and they talk about 2 dead overnight, I'm like, 2 dead how? Right. And they never went into it this morning as to how. Now I don't know if they didn't know. I don't know if the story was just so crazy that they possibly didn't think that it could be true. Oh, the man went up and he shot the people, and he walked right past the police. They're like, man, you lying? That did not just happen.
Well, a lot of times
the video came out.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. A lot of times they give that report and they ain't seen Twitter CSI with the on the ground footage. But the first one I seen, I was like, all right, I seen Tariq Nasheed, right? And he showed the one where the guy's throwing the hand sign. And I was like, And then I seen another one, TMZ, that had, different angles, and it was more complete. Yeah. Then I was like, wow. Then I seen the third one this afternoon from the police point of view. And they're literally, folks, I am not exaggerating. They are literally celebrating the moment. They offered him.
They gave him the water.
They gave him the water.
They gave him the water.
And the dude is like, thanks for that. He said,
yes. And by the way, he had the blue gloves on because he had his medic pack. I don't know if you saw the video of one of like a reporter or somebody who actually interviewed him. Did you see that one when he spoke to him?
No, I didn't. Was that before or
Oh yeah.
after?
Oh no. This is before that. He's like, yes, I'm out here protecting this, and I have my medic bag just in case anybody, needs help. And that's why he had. Oh, it's a whole like he's just sitting there, and apparently the guy has more, so he's going to release it later. But yes, he spoke. He's like, yes, I think I was the last person to speak to the shooter before he committed the crime, and he has a video of him just sitting there talking to him like he just is supposed to be there. He's just protecting people. He's got his medic pack, but yeah, you're murdering people.
And this is what I kind of loosely, historically loosely, I try to paint these pictures for people because I know everybody can't handle everything at once. But pay attention to a couple things, key things. 17. They're training their young generations.
Yeah.
We aren't.
Yeah. Well, we are training, but we're training ours almost to fight each other. We're not really training ours to fight the bigger enemy.
Sure, you could argue that. Sure, but that's all brainwashing too. But I'm saying,
I mean, it all goes together. It all goes together. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's all connected.
But I just hope people understand and read between the lines. When these types of details come out, 17, like there is a this is not like I got into it with somebody on Twitter today because it's someone, I said voting, is no amount of voting that can get rid of this. And the person hit me back and was like, yeah, but you got to vote at your local level and the judges and your circuit courts and that, because this was a lone gunman. I was like, there's in white America, there is no such thing as a lone gunman.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
He's part of a well-trained machine.
Militia. Mm-hmm.
He's in training.
Militia, whatever you want to call it. But yeah.
There's no such thing for them because they have the uniform. They have privilege. They can do it.
Well, they've been waiting for this.
They've been waiting for this.
That has been, calling for this for quite some time. And I'm sure when that woman ran the first time for president, that's when they were like, okay, now it's time more than ever to get prepared. And they've been activated.
So back to basketball, Coach Ken in the chat says that all NBA games are done for tonight and even one baseball game. So to you, what do you think is on the horizon as far as sports? Is it it's about to be over again because of this?
I really don't know. I really don't know because I did appreciate the way that they were able to use their platform and every night that they were still talking about it, every night that you heard Breonna Taylor's name, or every night you heard something. So I appreciated that. And goodness knows it's partly selfish of me, but it's been so good that this world is so crazy. It has been the one thing in my days that I look forward to. Mm-hmm. Like seriously, like you can't go nowhere, you can't do anything. It's just crazy. You turn on the RNC at night and the people so daggone evil. Like it's the one uplifting thing that you can find, that you can hold on to.
Yeah, and that's what they wanted. Yeah, they wanted it to be that.
They wanted.
Yeah.
But they're human. And they are mostly black men. And, it comes a point in time where you're just like, man, I can't even perform my job. Like, what do you want me to do? You love me to dance and jig for you, but you surely don't want me in your streets or your neighborhood. So it's, it just gets to be too much sometimes. And it gets to a point where you just like, I can't do it.
Right.
And so I don't really know. I don't know what they're feeling. I really don't. And I don't know what's going to happen. I think this is the one time where it's bigger than basketball.
Yeah, I mean, you would hope so, and you would hope. And I stayed up to watch Inside the NBA with Kenny, Chuck, and Ernie and Shaq, and they always hit it. And Kenny was just fired up, and they didn't even really get to talking basketball because they were like, it was just so unbelievable. And this is before the players decided not to do it. They just were leaning. They were like, Kenny was like, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised because the Milwaukee players were already talking about it because it's happening in their home state.
Right, it's happening in there, yeah.
And he was like, I wouldn't be surprised. But Shaq kind of blew me. What's that right there?
I'm sorry. When you had mentioned it, I turned it on. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I mean, we could listen to it, but I ain't know. I was like, damn, is Charles Barkley in the crib? He sounded like he had the crib. Shaq blew me though. Shaq was talking about what he tells his sons, and he was like, I tell my sons if they in a traffic stop, be respectful. Your job is to make it home, survive the encounter, be respectful. Yes sir, no sir. Make sure you have your ID on you, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, all right, Shaq, you too influential. Like good and hell well, none of that matters. We've seen it. Oh, you was listening
I'm sorry.
to?
I didn't. No, I thought you were still talking.
Nah, I thought you hung up.
No, no, I was just listening to
No,
you.
but
because it's a double-edged sword, because I completely agree with you. I completely agree.
We've seen on video that none of that matters, though. We've seen it.
I know. It's one of those catch-22. You have to take the best road. It's almost like when you vote. It might not be the best way, but if this is one of the best routes, yes, comply. Put your hands on the steering wheel.
No, all that's good. All that's real good and true and accurate. But what I'm saying is, in that moment, and that's the rap you giving America on NBA after the summer we had on TNT, when you know that that's not true.
But I'm confused. He was saying what he said to his sons. I am confused as to what you believe he should say to his sons. So, what should he say? Because that's what I'm going to tell mine.
All right, so I'm going to give you context. I'm going to give you context. But no, not that you should not say that. But him trying to pass off as if that's enough. Like the people that have gotten killed was because they were non-compliant.
No, I don't.
And that's the narrative that I hate that narrative.
I don't believe that's what he was saying. I think he was just saying, look, your job is to make it home. This is just what I tell my kids. I'm not saying it's going to work. I'm not saying if everybody that does this is going to make it home and this is going to be the one thing that fixes everything. But this is what I tell my boys. This is the conversation, because when he was talking about it, Ernie was talking about, this is like having the conversation. And I guess he meant like sex when he said right.
And Kenny, and he told Kenny he's never had to have that conversation with any of his kids.
Exactly. And
ever.
So I think Shaq went on to say what he tells his kids in that context. That's how I took it. I didn't take it for him to say that if you just do this, you will be okay.
But the point Kenny was making, so for everybody else context, Kenny's point was he went around the studio, Kenny Smith, he went around the studio and asked if anybody had ever had a gun pulled on them. And he said, the only time I'm from the hood, the only time I've ever had a gun pulled on me was by the police, and I've never committed a crime. And so that point was made, and that's supposed to stick. And Shaq followed that up immediately after that. Well, I tell my kids to just, comply. Yes, sir. No, sir. And hands on the steering wheel. Make sure you have all your documentation. I was like, nah, man. Like
what did you want him to say? What would have been a better...
That throws off Kenny's point. That throws Kenny's point. It deflects. I feel like in that moment that deflects. And it pushes the narrative that they always push on us, that if you would just comply, it wouldn't happen. When we know that that's not true.
I guess it's just semantics in how you, and we, people see things differently.
Yeah, no, and true.
I am not faulting you for that.
True,
you know
true,
what I mean? And as a black man in America and having gone through, I can't take that from you, and I wouldn't.
True.
You know what I mean? But I'm just saying I didn't see him because he's not. And he tries to tout that line because he is.
Well, he's law enforcement. He's law enforcement.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's law enforcement. He's big business. He knows how to protect his money. So
at the end of the day,
yeah,
I feel him because that is what should happen. To me, I don't care who you are, black, white, and in between. You need to comply with the police. But I'm on the whole shtick right now. Like, they hiring. If these people gonna keep shooting, like, I don't understand why more of us don't go into the police force. Like, nothing is going to change until we take our streets back, literally and figuratively.
That's true.
Whether it is, through the government and through the local precincts. You know what I mean? Like if all these police officers in Florida want to quit or upstate New York want to quit because they feel like they can't knock some old man down to the ground, and to keep the peace or kill somebody, then let them go. We have to understand, stay off the weed for a little bit so you can pass the drug test and get the badge, but let's literally take the streets back. I don't get that.
Mm.
But then you want the black on black crime, and we don't want to talk about that. But then that brings the police back into the neighborhoods anyway. So it's a cycle that just never ends.
Well,
it's all integrated.
Well, I don't believe in black on black crime, but that's a whole nother conversation. I'll bring you back.
It's a cycle.
It's
a cycle.
Not necessarily,
it's a cycle, bruh. It's
not
a cycle.
Not necessarily. I like your join the force idea. If they're leaving by the hundreds, and that's an open job with a good starting salary, I think we should mob and get them slots. I'm with that. I'm with that because
on Juneteenth, I was talking about they hiring. I did the whole thing. They hiring. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm with that, and take it over like hockey.
Tell me the crime in our streets wouldn't go down if we are policing our own neighborhoods and we know, these people. We take the time to actually care. It all black on black. It all is all. I could together.
I could believe that, but again, I don't believe in black on black crime. So, but okay. It's crime. It's called crime.
Man, it's a whole different thing when it comes out as because it is a thing.
Crime.
Just like racism, you can't get past it until you realize it's a thing.
They can't until they realize it's a thing. But let me go back. Let me go back to the peanut gallery. I saw some good points in there. 2 years ago, Debo was talking about Milwaukee Bucks player Sterling. Was it Sterling Brown that had an incident with the police?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When they jacked him up, it was on video too.
Mm-hmm.
And also Mr. Clarkson, our EP, he said the Orlando Magic, I don't know if you knew this, is chaired by Dan DeVos. Dan's sister-in-law is Betsy DeVos.
Mm.
The DeVos family is one of the largest donors to the 45's campaign. So today, the Bucks didn't take the floor, but the Magic actually did. And then after about 10 minutes, they went back to the locker room. So on site, they can really, switch it up, switch up the narrative and be like, well, we came to play. You know what I'm saying?
Orlando?
Yeah.
And who is we?
Orlando, the team. They could be like, if they got called in to the carpet. And they're like, well, why the job protest?
As of right now, they're frowning upon people who want to play. So I don't think that's something that they really should be poking their chest out and saying at this point in time.
No, I'm not saying that they are. That's just my theory because of who their chairman is. You know what I mean? Because it could trickle down. Somebody pick up the phone and be like, hey, man, what is y'all doing? You know what I'm saying? This ain't This ain't that. You play. You entertain us. Dance. So to that point, though, that's a great point you just made. Do you think, just your knowledge of the inner workings of the league, do you think that everybody is on board
with playing?
No, with not playing. Not playing. Because remember, they had the one guy who got injured, who stood for the flag against everybody.
Oh, yeah, and on his second game out, he tore his ACL.
Yeah, unfortunately.
That ended well.
Right. But do you I got no jokes. I got no jokes for that. Do you think everybody's on board now?
As to before when Kyrie was saying they should boycott and not play?
Yeah.
Or you mean when you say now, that's a big thing, because remember Kyrie and I forgot who else it was.
There's quite a few people.
Kevin Durant had kind of got it. Well, it started out as a lot and it kind of started dwindling down because they really had no plan. But I guess like even Molly said on First Take this morning, it was almost a thought that, okay, if we're bringing so much attention to it, not saying it can't happen again, but at least everybody's on point. So we're working. And it's like another one. It's just like, okay, what don't y'all get. Like, for the love of everything holy, we're trying, and almost is what Doc was saying. We are trying. We love this country, but they don't love us back. You will love us enough to watch us on television, but you will not love us enough to make sure our babies are in the car and they're okay because they're witnessing all of this stuff, and you just don't even care, and you just start unloading the whole clip into a minivan.
Right.
You know, so I think it just got to a point that it was not saying there was a certain amount that they could stomach, but they could deal with and continue to fight and talk about voting. But then for it to happen again, 7 times in front of everybody, the way it happened, it was just like, it's just too much.
Right.
Cause you can't even, like I was telling you the other day, like I was getting ready to wake up and do some funny stuff.
Yeah.
And then I saw this.
That's
and I'm
me.
like, I can't eat. Like, I'm so angry right now. All I want to do is punch something.
Yeah.
And the last thing I feel like do is trying to be funny because it seems inappropriate and it just seems stupid and it's just a whole thing. So
yeah,
it's just too much. It's so heavy and it's exhausting, and you know. Yeah.
Well, speaking of cocaine, have you been watching the RNC? Did you see last night? Because I know. Yeah.
Did Kenny just walk off set? Did something happen? Is he boycotting inside the NBA? I don't know. Something just happened where he just walked off set.
Oh, just now?
Just now. I'm walking. It wasn't up, but it just showed him walking off set.
Oh man, this is okay. We're live. Let me check that out.
Yeah, I said moments ago, so I'm not sure. But I have not been watching the RNC. I made it a point to not, because see, I don't like my mood changing. You know what I mean? It's the world is like, we just sit here talking how heavy the world is. And the last thing I want to watch is a bunch of coked up, you know, hood wearing Klansmen yell at the TV live for 2 hours.
But so wait a minute. I had you all wrong. I would have assumed that you would have watched it because it is must see television. I'll tell you for a number of reasons. One, you got to know what your enemy is doing. That's 101 art of war.
Lions.
But still, you got to know how.
Because everything, it doesn't even matter. All I know is if it's a fact, they're going to say the opposite. So that's all I need to know about them every single time. And they're not talking about anything. They're not talking about COVID. They're not talking about Black Lives Matter or the pro. They're not talking about any of that.
Well, that's because their base doesn't care about any of that. So they're performing to their base. But you still got to know what the game plan is. And here's the second piece to that. What I've seen in the last 2 days, and I want to see anybody in the chat, their thoughts on this. What I've seen in the last 2 days from a strategy and programming standpoint, not even policy or agenda, but strategy and programming only. If those are the only two things that we are looking at, it's better than the DNC.
Well, they had already said that they didn't. They put out that they do not have an agenda for 2020, right? That was an actual thing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They actually put out that they would use whatever they said in 2016 as their agenda, but for 2020 they have no proposed plan. So yes, they are going
and that's cool. Factor. And that's cool. And like TJ said,
then that's what they wanted to do.
TJ said in the chat, fear is their agenda. But what I'm saying is just the way it watches, like watching the convention. If you had the volume down and you jumping in and out, not really paying attention, man, it was like Negroes on parade last night. They had every blackface you could think of, and it was done so well that if you didn't know better, it might have been believable. They had the Attorney General, the writing is what I'm talking about. They had the Attorney General, Cameron, from Louisville, Kentucky, who has yet to bring charges, who's the only person that can and has yet to bring charges against the cops that killed Breonna Taylor in her home. And he has the nerve, his whole ass he's a whole hoe for this. He had the nerve to say, blah, 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 justice, like for the family of Breonna Taylor, we're out to, and I was like, what? You talking about wanting to punch something? I wanted to
See, and
throw
see, that's
the,
my whole thing. And see, that's my whole thing
but
because
you
my
got
whole
to
move.
though.
You know why? I can't. I honestly, and I guess for me, and again, bringing it back to this, the whole thing that because I have loved this country so much. I was sitting and I called my cousin the other day, and I had this conversation with some little millennial, I don't know,
A
on
little
Facebook.
man.
I don't even know who she is. I don't know, she's not even a millennial. What is after millennials? The younger one.
Oh, it's a new one. It's a new term.
Yes, it's the new one
Oh,
for the even younger ones, the younger ones, right?
I,
So, she was like complaining, the DNC, it's not enough black people, and it's not enough. I was like, well, first of all, I saw a lot of black people, and, Democratic Party is not, only about, black people. We all have to kind of work together. But if
right.
you want to be a part, the DNC, I'm with them. They're texting me. They asked me, did I want to submit a video? You know what I mean? Because I'm so into, my whole party and everything going on. Did you? Because anybody could have submitted a video. Anybody could have been a part.
Mm.
You're sitting up here complaining. Get out and do something. So she like gets upset. I was like, girl, I'm not going back and forth with you. I'm just saying stop complaining and put your your energy into action. Do something. I was like, make some phone calls. So I put a link up there to where you can start making phone calls to battleground states. You get, tutored on it. You have a whole little program that you go through, and before you start making out calls, I'm like, do something. So somebody wrote under it, if you are sick.
To you? About you?
Yes, yes, yes. I was like, I'm sick because I'm telling you how to actually do something and not just sit here and complain. I'm
Wow.
like, God help us.
Man,
God help us.
get well
Like
soon.
literally. Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, it's yeah.
Yeah.
You are sick. Mm-hmm. And I say all that to say I called my cousin because I've loved this government my whole life. I was a little kid in 7th grade who knew that Warren Christopher was Secretary of State. Everybody knows Mike Pompeo now because he's so crooked, but I knew who it was, almost daggone 30 years ago. And I had called my cousin because I had taken a picture with Madeleine Albright. I want to say her first or second year as being the first woman Secretary of State. And I was like, do you have that picture? It was like one of those days that they had at State Department because my whole family has come through the government and State
Yes.
Department. My parents met at the State Department. Literally, they were hooked on a blind date.
Right.
So,
Wow.
I'm looking like this was over 20 something years ago. Like you sitting up here calling me names, but I've been doing this before you were born. Like this is your first presidential election you're voting in. And I was doing this way back in the day. You know what I mean? So you
Right.
have no clue, but they don't want to listen. And that is what scares me because, when you're saying watch it, you're right. I probably do, but I get so upset. But
that again, and that's the point. It's very well put together and it's so convincing. Like if you did not know better, so they had the guy from Sandman, Nick Sandman from Covington, who had the MAGA hat on in front of the Native American guy, and that was a real L for the Democrat side and media and mainstream news agencies who painted that picture of him like he started it when in actuality he didn't. And they got the video to prove it. And he sued and they're paying him millions. CNN had to pay him millions. He's going after the Washington Post. He's going after the New York Times, and he's getting paid. So he spoke, and whoever wrote his speech yesterday, I was like, I almost had to turn TV off after that because I was like, they got the W on that one.
I could not.
They got the W on that.
His little face. Oh, I
yeah, his face is annoying.
He's punchable.
Yeah, he is punchable. When I look at him, it looked like somebody punched him, and I want next. Yeah. His crooked, he reminds me of everybody I think of that acts that way and talks that way. But the other thing is, I'm like, how old is this guy? Is he old enough to vote? I was like, oh, they're really using this one.
Yeah.
Using.
Yeah. This is what they're doing to the next generation.
Right.
This is what they're going to do to your children. They're going to do, they're going to make them feel like they are. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it was just, if you don't know no better, it was put together very, very well. And it's scary. So well that it's scary.
Yeah.
and they pardon the black man on TV. I'm like,
Oh,
well, why ain't y'all
don't
pardoning him last
understand
week
how.
or last year? But now,
Well, it's election time, honey. It's
yeah,
time to
man,
kiss babies, and it's time to make empty promises.
yeah,
It's
man.
election time. Yes,
Ah,
and by the way, Kenny did walk off set.
oh, something happened. Okay, we got to check
No,
that.
I think he just in his own form of protest. I don't think he's protesting TNT, but I believe in
Solidarity.
yes,
Oh,
solidarity. He left the set.
and I wonder what
Yes.
Shaq said. Just yes, sir. No, sir. Just
You know,
comply. All right.
way to bring it full circle.
Yeah, I appreciate you
That's
for stopping
nicely done.
through
Nicely.
on the show.
Thank you for having me, sir.
I can hear dinner time. Tell the kids I said what up.
Oh,
And
yeah, I did know. It's a little bit of everything.
yeah.
So.
All right. I'll talk to
All
you
right,
next
later.
time.
All right.
India Sweet, ladies and gentlemen. Man, NBA insider, chef, mom, wife, all of that, author, and opinionated style queen. But yeah, man, it's just what a day. What a day. Yes, sir. No, sir. The chacaroni portion of the proceeds is going to the blue line. Okay. Anyway. All right. A lot going on today. I want to see what happened. So what did Kenny do? Is that a thing? Is it Kenny walk? Let me just put Kenny Smith walks off set. Let's see what that looks like. Walks off set. Was that a thing? Was it prepared? Was it spontaneous? Oh, yeah, in solidarity. And they even used the word that I use. Okay, good call, Lamont. Oh, let's watch it. This is live TV, man. A live broadcast. Put it that way. Don't get smart. Just let me live. Commercial. Hold on. Skip ad because y'all ain't buying time on the show. All right, here we go. It's two people talking about it. I don't want to see y'all talking about it. Tiki. What's the dude name that used to play in the league in the NFL? Tiki Barber.
Feel like this bubble they were out shoot Adam Silver, Oklahoma City, there to put more emphasis. Even though I hate the position.
Wait a minute. Stand by. Y'all stand by. Motions. Oh, here we go. I got it. All right, let's watch this together, fam. Here we go.
I think the biggest thing now is to kind of, as a black man, as a former player, I think it's best for me to support the players and just not be here tonight. And figure out what happens after that. Yeah, I just don't feel equipped to do that. And I respect that.
You gotta love Ernie Johnson, man. Wow. That's heavy. Okay, I think Mr. Clarkson put it in the chat for the rest of y'all, but I had to play it from my console here. That's heavy, man. Well, let's do that one more time.
I think the biggest thing now is to kind of, as a black man, as a former player, I think it's best for me to support the players and just not be here tonight. And figure out what happens after that. Yeah, I just don't feel equipped to do that. And I respect that.
Man, there's a lot of noise after the mic cut off. I was trying to figure out what he said at the end. I don't feel equipped today. But mentally, I mean, yeah, man, it's, it affects people, everybody different ways. So I ain't gonna judge Kenny and I mean Chuck and Shaq for not moving. I ain't gonna judge them because it affects everybody differently. But that's major right there. That's major. So it's gonna be one of those nights, ladies and gentlemen. Keep your face glued to the news and Twitter. It's gonna be one of those nights. 2020 does not disappoint. Goddamn, man. I almost don't have no words, man. Hey, tomorrow maybe we'll figure it out and have a better assessment on what the fuck is going on out here, man. It's just solutions. And I got to tell y'all, man, what they say, 4 days, 8 days, 50 days to the election, vote, make sure you vote, and register to vote, and absentee, and mail in, and drop off, all of that. And yes, but that is not the only solution, because that is not necessarily going to fix the shit we facing right now. So, as always, man, we like to leave on a lesson. We try to have fun today, but it wasn't one of those days. So I appreciate y'all for hanging out and tuning in. And we like to, leave on a lesson and hear a word from an elder in a segment that I like to call Hi, Dad.
Happy everyday, brothers and sisters. This is Alpha Papa with today's reflection. A salute to yesterday's guests. Yesterday, April Sampay presented some interesting insights on her plant-based eating lifestyle that caused me to reflect on my own attempts toward a better eating lifestyle. I have been off of beef and pork for 18 months now, and I'm feeling a lot better than before. It was very hard in the beginning phase, in that I would hear voices every day. This is what I would hear. Hey, what happened to that applewood bacon we had last week? Or, hey, brother, those ribs on TV sure look good and juicy. That phase is over thanks to some strong discipline. I saw the comments in the chat area, and I feel what you are going through. It is hard, very hard. This is not my first time going off beef and pork. In the 1980s, I went off for 8 years. Then I went to a dinner football gathering at a friend's house. My youngest son bought me a plate from the host of the gathering. There was a 2-bone piece of ribs on my plate. I told my son to take the ribs back. I picked up the ribs by the bones, and that was all I came up with. The meat stayed on the plate. This is when I first started hearing voices, and the voices said, I know you are not going to eat those tender ribs. That day broke my 8-year run. I will stay strong from here on. Peace and blessings to all. Alpha Papa.
Yeah, right. You're going to blame one of your children for breaking your 8-year meat hiatus. Word from an elder. Sounds good. All right. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Again, if you want to support the show, everything we do here is viewer supported. The production, the guests, the honorariums, all of that, the technical stuff. Feel free to slide us some loose change, and we can continue. And also Patreon, need more patrons. And we're like 20 shy on the YouTube. All I need is 20 more people to subscribe to the YouTube. I know you may see the videos there, but you got to subscribe to the channel. And then once I get to 1,000, some different things can happen. What that is, what they are, I don't know yet. But let me get there, and then I'll let you know. All right, so there's that, man. Y'all be safe out here, man. We're gonna try to lighten up tomorrow. Also, we had Roland Martin on standby, but we ran out of time again. We'd love to hear from you. So if you're available tomorrow, we'll get you on. And I think that's it, man. And shout out to J Law Artisan Sausages. Oh, it was somebody else who had a product. Hold up. I saw it, but I couldn't get to it in time. I don't know what this is, but Bellow Burn. Shout out to Joe Jackson, mayor of the Green Line. So yeah, check out that too. And if you need to see any replays of any of the shows, man, get into Patreon, because that's the only place you're gonna be able to see them. And that's that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, y'all have a good evening. Be safe, man. Stay out of trouble. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do. And if you did, hey, don't let anybody know.